don't think any of us should walk off.
Welcome back to the set of The Gloves Are Off. We're going to continue on with our curling conversation. And this was maybe, I guess, out of all the positive that came out of this, Briar, there was a little bit of a negative attention brought to the game. And we're going to talk about Mackenzie. This was an 11-1 game. And we all know that basically he broke the rules. He walked off, shook the hands, and said, I'm done. Now, there was a fine that was put into place. But I hate to say it, I consider curling a sport of etiquette. And similar to the lines of golf and tennis. And to me, when he did this, it looked just poor sportsmanship, and I just didn't think that there was any place in this game for it. Do you agree or do you disagree?
Disagree.
Why?
It is a gentleman's sport. We shake hands at the start, we shake hands at the end. And you know what? You're getting pounded 11-1. You're not a TV game. You're not the focus game. You're not a game that dictates contention to a certain degree. So you're having a bad day, and one of the best teams in the world is handing it to you left, right, and center. So if it was different, if you're on TV, yeah, you know, you're entertaining an audience, you stay on there for your allotted amount of time. If not, pack them up and get some rest for the next one.
Yeah.
See, I
Would you have walked off?
don't. No, I don't. I just don't. You know what? Do
Why
you know?
would you
Do you
not
want to know
walk
how
off?
bad I wanted to walk out of that game, our final game, game 4, after the first period? If I could have walked off the bench with Cole Fisher, we would have walked off. Because
see,
we
that's
were
my
embarrassed.
comparison.
We were
Yeah.
like, because it wasn't our guys
Yeah.
playing the way they could play. Now, maybe it's not a good analogy, but you know what? And I've played every other sport that I can think of, and even when you're getting hammered in a game, you just suck it up. Because you know what? To me, and it's only my opinion, as it is, and you're entitled, it's just my nature. Not to say, you know what, you kicked our ass, we're done. You know what, 7 ends, stay there. But I can see your side too.
Yeah.
It's because it is embarrassing.
All right, we have to end that.
The sports don't correlate 100%. So I mean, it's
No.
I
See,
can
I
see
like
your
it. We've
point.
got
You can see mine,
controversy on
so.
the set. I like it.
I can see his point.
Yeah. All right, we're going to move on now. March Madness. We're going to change sports here a little bit. March Madness in full swing now.
Basketball again.
Yeah, but just wait. I
Make
want
it
to talk
fast.
about the NCAA here and whether or not this has come into light. The NCAA president gave a speech on this, talking about whether or not athletes should be compensated for playing because of the revenues that these events and these teams produce for the school. So let's pretend you're on a curling scholarship, Chris, and you're grossing, you know, I don't know, $100,000. Do you think that you should be entitled to any of those profits, and why or why not?
Let's just hope that the curling game gets to that level at some
Yeah.
point in time. I would love to
Okay.
have that problem if our
Yeah,
athletes.
because the Briar's what, 40,000 for 1 and 2? Yeah.
Exactly. Let's say that my kids were going to an event like that, to NCAA curling, and the revenues are huge. I'd be the proudest dad around going, I can't believe the sport has grown to this amount. So
Would you think a scholarship would be enough for them, or would you want to see them get a share in the profit?
it's a tough call because you look at that and you say, is it going to ruin the game? Now, did they deserve it? Possibly. But when they start talking about, I believe your quote in there, or the guy's quote was, it's the biggest travesty in sports. Well, that sounds like a lawyer talking to me, not like a coach. So it's tough when you grow the sport to be that big, and then you talk about sharing revenues. It's difficult.
The revenues are so huge, but I've always had this thought. It's crazy, but I think, you know what? The scholarships improve. And how do you improve the scholarships? I've always said your living accommodations and your food vouchers. Instead of McDonald's, you're eating that caviar.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking $30, $40 million worth of revenues in some of these. Are the kids entitled? I don't think so, not through NCAA rules.
Before we have to take another break, I want to quickly talk about the lockout that could potentially happen with the NFL, because this was a week long. We had deadline extended. And then I guess my question is, with everything that happened, were either of you surprised that this eventually was decertified, or the union was decertified, and now we're in the situation that we're in? Were you shocked to see that things didn't work out? I was actually surprised. I thought they might get it done.
I thought they would have.
No?
I mean,
You think they would have?
Yeah,
And
I
Chris,
thought they-
you're not surprised?
No.
Why
I think
aren't you surprised?
I think it was their gameplay right from the get-go.
Whose gameplay?
Players.
The ownership or the players?
Players.
Okay.
Yeah, ownership. They kept to the table, pardon me, and said, "Oh, we did this, we did that." Just seemed like the players weren't open to anything at all. This is what their plan. They want to take it to civil court. So I don't think they're ready to sell.
Yeah.
And it's just an amazing thing, though, the TV revenues that NFL football brings in.
$9
And
billion we're
yeah,
talking about here.
bonkers.
And the revenue sharing that has gone on with it and the players. And you know what? I think all these, potential walkouts what have they really done? I mean, the NHL got affected really bad. Now, baseball, their last one, really, the attendance was hit hard, and people have come back again.
Yep.
If that ever happens with baseball. But NFL football, it's kind of like a cycle. Now it's their turn to get more. And you can't blame players sometimes, really, for what they're, because some of them, you talk about the superstars, they're there for a long time, they get the cash. You talk about the second line, third string guy who may be there 3-4 years. Is that who they're taking care of? Is this what we're talking about?
And you're looking at the people that are heading up the charge going to the civil action,
Yeah, we're
Manning,
talking about your
Breeze,
big name, Breeze.
big name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, well, that's all the time that we have for Dumb and Change, but we are going to get a chance to play Brian's favorite game, Who Am I? Stay tuned, that is coming up next on The Gloves Are Off.